The thing that I predicted had the highest probability of happening has unfortunately unfolded before our very eyes, as we did in fact see the old buy the news, sell the event situation happening once again here with Ethereum and the merge. A lot of people optimistic this could cause a spike. Unfortunately though, as we know in crypto, you never want to expect something to happen that causes a spike, because every single time the spike will happen beforehand, and then when you actually expect the major spike, well, it's probably not going to come. But that said, you do actually have to have the information of when about that thing is going to happen, otherwise it can cause a spike. So there are some nuances of course here, and it's not 100% tried and true. Occasionally we see exceptions, but here this was not one of them, as we saw Bitcoin and Ethereum, both of them actually going up a nice amount from this hype. But ETH going from its price here of around 1,500 all the way up to over 1,700, which looked pretty beautiful, right? We love seeing that. Now though, all the way back, erasing all of the ETH merge news gains. This, in combination with what we just saw with the high inflation rates, is causing the market to look absolutely atrocious to new investors, which therefore is leading to a downturn. Will it continue to last, or are we about to see an upturn in the market? Now, I'm certainly more optimistic as we start to see better prices in terms of buying now. Now that sounds counterintuitive, but the more we see negativity, the more we see bad stuff happening, the better the opportunity gets each and every time that happens. And that's, I think, the best way to look at it. A lot of people see it as, oh no, it's getting worse, I want to leave. The smart investor looks at it and says, it's getting worse, this could be a good time to buy. Because if you're thinking like everyone else, you will not be making the optimal amount of money in the crypto market. Everyone knows that, but I think it's just important to hammer it home, because a lot of people, especially who are new to the community, may kind of, it's easy to get sidetracked across that, right? But take a look at this. Ethereum all the way back down to 1,470. It's still up, right? A decent ways from the overall period here, but nonetheless, some pretty terrible numbers, and an overall crypto crash is causing some serious concern amongst investors here, as we did see Bitcoin as well going down all the way under 20k again to 19,735, even a bigger fall, bouncing back some from that. Ethereum though down 8%, exactly what I said would happen is what happened here. At least what I said had the highest probability of happening, which is the fact that you do not want to be holding when the actual event happens. You want to be trading that, and you also want to have a cushion there for yourself. I actually sold a decent amount of Ethereum at the top of this little run here before it went back down, and that's one of the reasons why I was giving you the same indicator that I was using, that it was a time to sell Ethereum. Now is it a time to buy back? It certainly may be, but there are a couple of things of concern that we have to talk about. The first one is the next inflation report. We really need to be watching this closely, because if that is over 10%, we're going to see absolute turmoil in the entire economy. Every single somewhat risky or decently risky or highly risky investment will take a serious hit as a result of that. Now, the good news is the economy can't necessarily slide one way forever without seeing some sort of directional change. Could it be in the opposite direction of what we want? Yeah, it's possible. But at some point, you have to realize that cryptocurrency is way better to hold than the dollar. Nobody's going to want to hold the dollar when it's absolutely collapsing on a yearly basis. Since the last administration has taken office, it's down 13%. The administration before that, it went down around 4 or 5. Then the administration before that, around 4 or 5 as well. So we're continuing to see big numbers here of inflation. Every single president that we've had for the last few decades has unfortunately played a role in making this worse, and none of them seem to understand or grasp the idea that it's important to set up a financial future rather than just buy votes in the present. That's what everyone's doing, buying votes. It's pretty absolutely ridiculous. It shouldn't be happening, but it is indeed happening. By the way, if you're wondering, what the heck is the Ethereum Merge? What's actually happening here? There's not a lot of good information about it. You may be thinking, oh yeah, I know what it is, but do we actually know what it is? What the heck is it? What's going on here? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I mean, you may have a general idea, right? But the Ethereum Merge is a network update to transition Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake. That's pretty common knowledge base right there. Everyone knows that for the most part. Basically switching from proof of work, meaning all the miners have to go in and tell you, yes, your transaction is verified. Now it's going to be holding, staking. That's going to be the consensus mechanism to verify transactions. So it will be a significant reduction in energy. That's one of the things that's being touted the most here. Cool to see in some ways. Then again, it's kind of silly because that was never really the problem with Ethereum. And the people who said it was just simply hated on it. So I hate to kind of give in to them in any way. At the same time, there's absolutely no downside to it being better for the environment. It's just silly that we even have to be talking about that in the first place, since it's so much better than the other systems that exist. Nonetheless, though, of course, everyone loves it. Why not? Better for the environment. You happen to like it just as much as I do. Why not, right? This is an expected 99% reduction in energy cost. Also, the merge has transitioned operations of the current Ethereum mainnet over to Ethereum Beacon Chain. So this is kind of getting into the part where a lot of people don't know the full knowledge base of this. So the Beacon Chain is what it's switching over to, but that doesn't mean there's going to be a new Ethereum. It is still the same Ethereum. It is just going to be merging with the Beacon Chain, if that makes sense. It's somewhat complicated, but at the end of the day, it's actually, I mean, straightforward if you happen to have devoted your entire life to coding. Otherwise, yeah, it's kind of complicated. More decentralized by lowering hardware requirements for node operators, faster transaction confirmations. Overall speed, though, is expected, especially at first, to be around the same, though, even though there will be more transactions. The speed you receive will not be that altered. 99% reduction in energy consumption by node validators. Ability to add more scaling solutions. That one actually could be pretty impactful. Increase security through client diversity and make ETH a more deflationary asset. So that's probably, I think, going to be the biggest thing we hit home here. Ethereum, with the new system, is going to have significantly different mining impacts on the overall spectrum of Ethereum, if that's a good way to describe it. Basically, Ethereum is going to lose less of its value over time, which basically does take it out of some of the running for having certain advantages that are specific to being a currency, but puts in a lot of advantages for its NFTs and for building stuff on the Ethereum chain, especially through the smart contracts. So that's going to be very helpful as we continue to move on. How does staking work? So basically you need 32 ETH in order to actually stake, but you don't really though, because you can actually pool together. People are doing that right now. So if you want to pool with other people, there's a lot of scams out there, so be careful. I may do this for MattWallace.io. We may get into some of this, and I'll show you how you can actually join and how you can actually be part of this. I highly recommend you check out MattWallace.io in the description if you want to be part of Ethereum mining, if you want to be part of mining in the future. We have multiple huge things coming for that. My goal by you joining the community is to really bring you in and have all of us working together. We're also going to be working on workshops and things like that. So big stuff coming for MattWallace.io. If you're part of it now, hopefully you're excited. If you're not, I highly recommend you join before we start getting going there. Yeah, that's definitely true. I gained 2 penny from mining. It's better than... There you go. You gained 2 penny. Not bad. 2 pennies. What can you buy with that? A lot of stuff. If you invest in Dogecoin, then that 2 pennies will be worth a couple billion pretty soon here. Confirmed. Oh gosh, imagine that. Imagine. All you need is 1 penny. You're a billionaire. Maybe one day. We'll see. Those who don't, just have to a billion X. The world's first a billion X of anything. If Dogecoin billion X, what would you buy? I mean, so many people would be so extraordinarily rich. We'd have to start talking interplanetary now. Like, what planets are you going to buy with all your money? Oh gosh, that's pretty crazy. Risks of the Ethereum merge. Here's something a lot of people don't want to talk about. So denial of service attack vulnerability. When the move to POS network proposers will be ahead of time, making them vulnerable to DOS attack. For example, if potential attacker is in line to propose one of the next blocks in the blockchain, they can attempt a DOS, sophisticated networking attack of the current proposer's node, causing them to lose their slot, and the transactions in the slot can be picked up by the attacker. There are some solutions being worked on to make the proposer selection anonymous, but this is currently still a risk, so it's not completely and totally seamless. Switching a cryptocurrency over from proof of work to proof of stake. But overall, so far it's going smooth. The Ethereum merge is continuing to work as expected. We're not going to see a lot of the impacts at the very beginning stages of it, but those will start to come over time. This is a process. A lot of people think it's just like, boom, it's done. Nope, it's a process. It's happening over time as we continue to see more and more development along the side of Ethereum here. Can Dogecoin merge like ETH? Says Doge 2022. That's a good question there. So, I mean, in theory, yes, but will it? Most likely not, because it would be the same thing as saying, will Bitcoin merge? You know, there are solutions and proposals in place for both Bitcoin and Dogecoin that could, in theory, upgrade it. There is, of course, development going on with Dogecoin right now, but something as massive as an entire merge is unlikely in the near term for Dogecoin. Is it something that's a possibility in the future? anything is possible. I mean, we can't rule out something like that. It just would take, so there's a pretty big difference though between Ethereum and Dogecoin and the way they are set up and the way they're operated. And so that would make it significantly more difficult. But if you do have consensus, you can do pretty much whatever you want. I mean, if you have enough miners on board, you do have the ability to do that. Now, would the miners agree to it? That's another question. So there's a lot of question marks in place of if Dogecoin could do that. It's not out of the question though. It could, in theory, happen. And maybe we'll push for it at some point. It could be the absolutely smart decision in the future, and maybe everyone will agree on that, even including miners. Also, be careful of scams. A lot of people making ETH too. Of course they are, because the expectation is that with the merge, there's going to be a new ETH. Not really. It's just merging with the beacon. But ETH2 scammers are raking in dough, raking in some cash by pretending to have the new Ethereum. And then also, I've seen a bunch of fake accounts, even verified ones, shockingly. I don't know how exactly that transaction happens. Either the verified accounts are hacked somehow, or they're purchased. That could certainly be the case. Whatever method is used to acquire them, though, these verified accounts with a couple thousand followers often are tweeting out as Vitalik.eth, and it looks like, oh my gosh, Vitalik.eth just commented on your post. Wow, that's crazy. And then you go look at it, and it's just a scammer posting a link, where if you go and connect your wallet to that link, they have the ability to take all of your money. It's crazy to think that you're literally only one click away from losing every single bit of cryptocurrency that you have in one specific wallet. What can you do to protect yourself? Well, it's very simple. Step one, hold your cryptocurrency in different decentralized wallets. It may be a pain in the butt, but it's worth it. Different decentralized wallets on top of holding it in multiple exchanges as well. If you have all of your crypto in one place at any one time, that is extremely, extremely dangerous. With MetaMask, for example, you can make a lot of different wallets. So there are things you can do to protect your money. There's a lot of different ways to be proactive about this and make sure that you do not have to worry about losing it all. And if you don't heed that warning and then it happens to you, unfortunately, it's going to be a very, very, very ugly thing. So we have to be careful there. Wow, I mean, can you just imagine? Imagine you log onto your account and you see $100,000 is gone, or something along those lines. A few thousand, 10,000. It doesn't matter what the specific amount is. If you lose all your crypto, it's going to be very upsetting. Period. No matter who you are, even if it's just $1,000. I mean, that sucks, right? So we obviously want to see everyone being aware of this, and we hope that the scammers will be absolutely utterly destroyed. If a meteorite wants to go ahead and hit the scammers, I wouldn't even mind. I mean, I'll say it. I hope meteorites hit every single scammer building across the entire globe. Now, we don't want them. Okay, they're still people, right? We don't. I guess we don't want them to actually get, deceased as a result of these meteorite hits. But I mean, at the very least, damage to buildings. Maybe like a couple people, broken arms, broken legs, whatever. They just some consequences here. I mean, they're literally robbing people blind. They're robbing old ladies. They're robbing kids. They're robbing everyone. They don't care. They're taking all your money. And so as a result, we definitely need some meteorites in action here. So if you happen to know any local meteorites that you would like to, hit some scammer buildings, go ahead and let them know. They can come. They can come along. Just hit the building. Be careful. Don't. No one has to be killed from this. Just damage. A lot of damage. Emotional damage especially. We just need to make sure they're taken out of operation and they can no longer carry out these scam attacks. Terrible stuff. Stay positive, says Juan. I like the sound of that. Yes, if you do want to hear a positive outlook, I always have something positive to say, because in cryptocurrency, if you have a negative outlook all the time, you will end up being wrong in the most painful way possible when it does spike again, as always happens. It will spike again. There's no doubt about it. We will see a new all-time high for Dogecoin, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum. Those are coming. The question is just, what do we have to weather first? And the answer is almost entirely dependent on outside forces of even what cryptocurrency has a hold of currently. We have to rely on global economic standing, and especially economic standing in the United States. Hugely important right now, and there's major reasons why. I'm going to go into a couple of those in my next video, but Jose says, killing me, Matt. You mean like you're laughing, or in what way? Wish I would have sold, says Jose. Yeah, the truth is, there's a reason why I said at the top of the market, if you're trading this, you may want to consider taking profits. I even said it on Dogecoin that I personally take profits. I don't need the money from selling Dogecoin. I'm doing well. I'm happy to continue to hold my Dogecoin just because I love it so much. If I needed the money, if I was in a position where I had to sell, I would be trading it. I would be selling it, but I don't. And so I'm personally holding it. Also, I mean, even if I did need to sell it, I mean, gosh, that would hurt. I don't know. Maybe even if I needed it, I would still find a different way. Do you accept kidneys? Maybe I'll sell my kidney instead. Oh gosh, that's a bad idea. No, it's better to sell your Doge than your kidney. Oh my gosh. I mean, I have a couple kidneys, right? Do I really need both of them? I mean, I can just buy more Doge, right? Easy. But yeah, that's why hopefully you did take some profits at the top, and then you have the ability to buy back a huge bag now in comparison to what that will be worth at the heights of the market. As you subscribe with the notifications on, I'll do my best to keep you updated on when we see those top signals in the market, when it is time to take profits, and when it is time to consider accumulation in a large scale of crypto. I got a pull it, haha, nice. Anyway, I'm Matt Wallace, this is Final Stand, and I will see you in the next video.